The boys are back. After a 2-week break, we had our time to recharge, reset, and reflect on the 2025 Fantasy MLR season. So let's talk about it to kick off this off-season grind. And what better way to do that by also being joined by friend of the show and 2025 Major League Rugby champion, Andrew Quattrin. The Fantasy Ruckers show starts right now.
This is Andrew Quattrin with the New England Free Jacks, and you're listening to the Fantasy Ruckers,
where rugby and the world of fantasy sports collide. Welcome to the Fantasy Ruckers Show, bringing fantasy rugby to the masses, talking all things rugby from the MLR to leagues around the world. We're on top of it. Headphones on, pads off. This is the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Now, here are your hosts, Ryan Yee, Matt Yee, and Devin Vanderpool.
What's up, everybody? This is episode 163 of the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Thank you so much to our Fantasy Ruckers League members, our community members, and everyone else tagging along on this journey of making fantasy rugby a reality in the MLR. It's been a while, but we are back. 2-week break. Matt Yee, Devin, Vandy Vanderpool. I am Ryan Yee, and took some time to get over what was a Major League Rugby Championship hangover. Took a little bit of a vacation, but we are back in the house, back in the Fantasy Ruckers studio to start talking a little bit of fantasy MLR as we get into the thick of the offseason. Vandy, Maddie, it's great to see you boys. Vandy, it's been a little bit since we've seen you on the show, so it's great to have you back. Maddie, good to see you as well.
Yeah, you know what? Some time off. It sucks I had to miss the episode after the finals, but you know what? Life gets in the way sometimes. 2 weeks off. It's been nice, but, miss the boys. Miss the boys.
Always missing the boys, but yeah, it's good to be back. I think it was a nice little refresher, just to get some time. We had a long, hard season. Long, hard season.
Yeah.
We got through it. We partied a little bit at the end. Vandy partied vicariously, and yeah, we crushed it. And now we're back at it.
Now we're back at it, and what a way to kick off, I guess, the official start of, at least from a fantasy sense, the 2025 Fantasy MLR offseason. Then with the show where we got to get to talk to a champ. We got to talk to a back-to-back champion, and that is Andrew Quattrin of the New England Free Jacks. Will join the show in just a little bit to talk about the 2025 campaign. I got a pressing question to ask him whether or not the New England Free Jacks are or should be considered the biggest dynasty right now in all of sport. What do you think?
The biggest dynasty?
The biggest dynasty. That's a tough
right
sell.
now. What other team? What other team has created a dynasty right now?
Chiefs.
The Chiefs. You guys lost.
Yeah, whatever.
You guys lost.
3 and 5 years.
You could argue
3 and 5 years is a dynasty.
Panthers.
No, I think
you could argue the Panthers, who have gone back to back, but we're talking back to back to back.
Maybe
rugby doesn't get the same love as some of the other sports, but I don't know.
Relative.
It's a question that I want to ask them.
The one thing I will say is, you know what? Amazing, incredible, but limited number of teams, easier to do. Not just to make it fair to all the other sports. I'm not trying to trash on them.
I feel you.
I'm not trying to trash
New England. You're right.
But that is a question.
On New England.
I'm not.
That is a question that I want to ask the Andrew Quattrin, friend of the show. He'll be with us in just a little bit. But we do have a lot of catching up to do here. We've been off for 2 weeks, like we said, and we got to talk a little bit about all the news that have been dropping over the course of the past 2 weeks. Because, again, Major League Rugby might be done. They might have closed up shop for the next handful of months here before the start of the 2026 season. But that doesn't mean there isn't any shortage of news that has come out over those 2 weeks. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the team of the week announcement, or team of the year announcements, the all MLR team selections, the player of the year, alluding to that and kind of how that relates to a fantasy sense and whether or not we agree with that, and some other signings, of course, some international tests that have started to spark up as well, which has been interesting. But either way, again, it feels good to be back. Feels good for Matt Yee, Devin Vandy Vanderpool, and myself to be back in the shop to talk fantasy MLR this offseason and talk and get prepared for what is going to be obviously a very exciting 2026 year. So this is the official start. I guess we wrap up the 2025 year. If you missed it in our recap of checking out Rhode Island and being a part of the championship festivities, check out our last episode that was released a couple of weeks ago. That was episode 162. Of course, been getting great feedback on the video that we released, the extra content of the experience of what it was like to be behind the scenes with us, the Fantasy Ruckers, at the championship in Rhode Island. All of that's up on YouTube. All that will be linked down below in the description. If you missed it, you will want to go check that out. And while you're doing that, hit the like and subscribe button, hit that bell, follow us on all of our social media channels at the Fantasy Ruckers. The Discord has been popping off with some of the international tests going on with some people getting in on that betting action. And then also you can, if you ever get tired of it, or I should say miss what has been a fantastic fantasy MLR year, go check out the fantasyruckers.com. The numbers are all still up there. You can go check out the Fantasy Ruckers, who are your 2025 OG League champions. I'm just going to say that. You can check that out on the fantasyruckers.com, the official platform for fantasy MLR here on the Fantasy Ruckers Show. Well, no time to waste. Let's get right into it, boys.
News dump.
All right, TFR News Dump, first off-season edition on this episode 163. We're going to rattle it off, and we're going to start in chronological order. Start off with the oldest stuff, then get to the newest stuff. And I think Vandy would like to get to this right away because obviously we talked about the departure of a coach that we were kind of wondering what the aftermath was going to be. And we're talking about the Utah Warriors. And the Utah Warriors have found their successor in Robbie Abel, who has been with the club since 2021. He was a forwards coach, moved to assistant coach. He is a Super Rugby veteran and has now been named the new head coach for the Utah Warriors. So interesting enough to see there because after the departure of Greg Cooper, who has obviously been a bit very pivotal key in the uprise of what has been the Utah Warriors, especially in the last season. The questions remain on how they were going to maybe keep that consistency going and continue that improvement into 2026. I think there isn't a better way to do that than maybe bring in a guy that has been around the club for the past 5 years here. I think this is solid, and obviously remains to be seen on how Utah will kind of use this as a stepping stone into the 2026 year. But again, I think this kind of squashes maybe some concern that I had about the continuity of what they're trying to do there in Utah.
Yeah, it's nice to see you hire internal because when you do that, I mean they have somewhat of the blueprint that was there to make you successful, and they understood kind of what it took to get it done. So I'm happy with it.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Vandy. I think the fact that you got continuity of what you guys did last season, I think that would have been the biggest concern, right? Like you lose your head coach after probably coach of the year.
Yeah, I mean,
like
I'm
coach of the
biased,
year,
but yeah.
yeah, like coach of the year performance out of him and the team. Yeah, so I think it's great that they're hiring internal and they can continue the same culture. They can continue the same, style of play. They can continue the same ideology in terms of how they're going to play and how they're going to be off field and on field. And you love to see it.
And again, like I mentioned, there's no shortage of professional rugby experience for Robbie Abel. Again, a veteran of Super Rugby, has played with Brumbies, the Rebels, the Waratahs, Western Force, among some of them. And again,
Maori All
Vince
Blacks.
pardon?
I think the Maori All Blacks as well.
Okay. And has been a part of the Warriors since 2021. So the continuity there is definitely something that will
could be
play a
mine.
factor with
No, he didn't.
that. All right. And then moving on to a couple of retirements. Again, that was announced way back at the start of July. So again, a whole bunch of catching up to do here. We move forward with some retirements that happened over the course of July since we've last recorded our podcast. San Diego Legion and USA Eagle Tavita Taimalo announces his retirement. This is a guy that has been a mainstay in the MLR for quite some time, a guy that has been very fantasy relevant for quite some time. This past year, maybe not so much with him coming off of the bench, but last year, a handful of double-digit performances, especially when he was starting. Tavita Taimalo is hanging up the boots and will be leaving the MLR.
Yeah, I mean, what a player, eh? Like just I feel like you always saw flashes of brilliance out of him, especially from a fantasy perspective, and he was just an absolute freight train at times. So sad to see him go, but you know, on to bigger and better things, I
On
guess.
to bigger and better things. So
Bigger,
again, yeah,
better things.
Tavita Taimalau hanging it up, and a guy that will be joining with him is Nola Gold's Pat O'Toole, who the
Yeah, I
front
think we saw
rower,
this one coming.
Yeah.
who we hadn't seen anything since week 2 of this past
Yeah,
year.
and I think after I think it was a concussion that got him to leave that week 2 game. I think I remember saying like, I think that was his second. Like, he's been racking those up
Yeah.
a lot. I think he had one last year as well. Um, yeah, that sucks. It's a tough way to go out. You never want to see a guy leave not on his own terms. And he was honestly a guy that you would want to have on your roster a lot of the times, like a
Oh,
key
yeah.
front rower for this Nola Gold. And you think about the past few years that he's been on there. He was definitely a staple for them. So sad to see him go. Hope that he's doing well health wise. And yeah, you just hate to see it that way, but hopefully he's got a career to be proud of. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
A great streaming option when you had him starting, and this year again before that injury and before the concussion, like the arrow was pointing up and to the right.
Yeah.
15.2 points to start off the year with a 2 try performance to open up the season, and then he backs that up with another 7.2 fantasy point performance, both games going above the 50-meter mark. So again, just I think there was a lot of excitement, and this probably was corresponding as well with the excitement that was surrounding the Nola Gold as well. But again, off of his own terms with it, which is unfortunate to see. Pat O'Toole does retire from rugby. But moving on to some more positive news, there has been some international signings that we do need to touch on, and this is something that we've talked a lot about on this show about how we understand and we kind of understand the place that Major League Rugby has in the position that is professional rugby in the world landscape. And we know that many players are going to use this as a stepping stone to get to bigger and better leagues, whether that be leagues that they play in while the MLR is not playing and they come back. Either way, just get more exposure to pro rugby on bigger stages. And there's been a handful of guys that have since signed with some pretty notable squads here, the likes of Houston Sabercats' Sam Tuifua, who signed with Stade Montois Rugby in Pro D2, and then also Jay Tuivadi on NOLA signs and joins him on the Stade Montois Rugby side as well. So 2 notable guys in MLR joining that French Pro D2 side, and then Juan D. Oliver signs with the Italian Serie A team that is Rugby Rovigo Delta. So 3 guys that obviously had pretty solid MLR seasons this past year move on to play some, I guess, MLR off-season rugby on teams that are in some pretty big competition there overseas.
Yeah, and you see some of these guys like Juan D. Oliver, like I think he probably would have loved to have a bit more playing time this year. Um, and he deserves it. So yeah, hopefully he gets to get in there. And Ryan, I don't know if you were going to mention this now I'll let you go with the chronological order. You can finish it off.
Wait, are they eligible for next year still or?
I don't know how the other like I don't know what I'm not an expert in all those other leagues that go on. I imagine that they are, considering that if they're starting soon, then they'll run probably not overlap too much with the MLR season. I'm not sure. The only one that I know for sure is like is the Bunnings NPC.
We know
That's
you're
the
the
only
Bunnings
one.
expert.
I'm the Bunnings expert. That's all I know. But I don't know what happened because like I don't know if you remember, but like there's some of the guys that went to Tel Aviv Heat, right? Like Ross Brody, who was the other one? I forget who else was there. But like that one kind of overlapped a little bit, but not really. So I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
So I'm looking at the website right now, and it looks like well, at least for Juan D. Oliver, who's over with the Rugby Roviga Delta team, who actually just won the championship in Serie A Elite, and their final was May 5th or May 31st. So in that case, would overlap with MLR. So again, we're not Italian league experts, but according to the quick research that I did here, that does seem to be the case. Pro D2, I am not too sure. I feel like that one might be
well, Pro D2. I mean that has to go with the top league.
I mean,
You know?
June 6th is when they finished up their
Yeah. I
or
think
June
these are departures.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
hey, that's big. Sam Tuifua, big name there.
Yeah.
Jay Tuivasa, that's obviously a guy that has been notable
Houston's
here.
taking some blows.
Tui Fu is the big one.
Yeah.
But to be fair, I mean, they got Ronan Murphy there. Like he's gonna come back from injury. And he's gonna be a stalwart in that
Who we did get to
back
see
row.
a lot of at the fan festivities there pregame, and it seemed like a pretty cool guy. All right, let's move on now, I guess, and get our reaction here. We're getting nearer to what the latest news has been, but what was announced in I believe earlier this week was, or earlier last week, I'd say on July 16th. The all MLR team selection. So you got the MLR first team, MLR second team, and MLR honorable mention. So we start off with the MLR first team. I don't need to go through each and every single player, but you can catch it on socials on who is named to that list. But I'll ask and throw it to Maddie and Vandy about guys that you are surprised, that you are unsurprised, or that maybe got omitted by the squad here that you think should be maybe in this round of listing.
I love to see 4 Utah guys on there. I love to say that, but
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was tough to like Liam Coleman, no way you could leave him off.
oh, he's
Frank
so good this
Lahore,
year.
no way you can leave him off. Joe Mono couldn't leave him off. Jordan Trainer also couldn't leave him off. He was one of the best 15s in the league. Yeah, I don't have too many surprises here. I think the back row must have been tough. That must have been a tough decision. I
Yeah.
think Ardeo is a lock. Wilkin is definitely a lock. I think Vian Conradi could be up for debate. But you look at the guys who genuinely played 8 consistently all year. I think Vian Conradi probably edges out Lucas Rumble and the likes of Jonah Moe. For me, I'm good with this first team. I think where I start to get into the second team, maybe I wonder, right? Like I wonder, could Q fit into that hooker spot instead of Dylan Fawcett? I thought Q had a phenomenal year. I think, Jed Melvin or Johan Mumson. I think Jed Melvin probably edges Johan Mumson out, in my opinion. And Joel Hodgson, I mean, I have that one's a tough one. And Vandy, I don't know what you think with this one, because this one for me is tough.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm okay with that because as a 10, he wasn't even kicking a lot anyways. Luela had that duty. So, I mean, they're counting those guys on that, and he gets a buy on it. So, but I mean, he had a good year, but I do think, yeah.
Okay, let's play the fun exercise. Okay, so we're circling it back to fantasy MLR. Okay, and assuming that again they're essentially taking the top 3 positions at every top 3 players at each position, right? So if we look at front row, we'll kind of take a bypass on because again, from a fantasy sense, those players aren't as relevant. But when you take your top 3 hookers, right, according to the MLR. All MLR teams here. You got Liam Coltman, Dylan Fawcett, and then Andrew Quattrin. From a fantasy sense, we got Shiloh Klein, Liam Coltman, and then Dylan Fawcett.
Wow.
Outside looking in, close is Hugh Roach, Peter Aneasu.
Cameron Orr is right there on that second team.
That is true. That is true. But again, going with that's fair enough. Going with hookers though.
Cameron Orr was sick this year.
Yeah, he was sweet.
With doing that.
From a waiver pickup, massive.
From a hooker sense, we got Lahore. So again, 3 teams. So you're
second row.
Your top 6 hookers or top 6 locks, top 6 second row players. Frank Lahore, Jason Dom, Jed Holloway, Mason Flesh, Sam Gala, and Nathan Denhout. How does that compare?
That's crazy. Mason Flesh isn't on this list.
Yeah, right? You know what? That is crazy.
So you got Lahore, Nathan
Sam Gala must have had a second half of the year, eh? Because he started off pretty rough, didn't he? And to finish, what, top 5?
Yeah.
So guys that's
pretty nasty.
Guys that are on the all MLR teams that aren't in our top 6 fantasy MLR finishers. James Scott is one, and then Justin Basson is the other. So in lieu of that, you would probably replace that with Mason Flesh and Sam Gala. I actually prefer
I don't know about Sam Gala. I know he did well fantasy wise, but I don't.
James Scott is right at number 7, so he's right there. So I think
wouldn't go Sam Gala.
But Mason Flesh not being there is wild.
Yeah,
Mason Fletch had a year.
Mine would be Mason Fletch. It's got to find a way into there, right? Probably over Justin Basson, I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think that. All right. The back row position. Let's go. We got from an 8-man sense, we got Jonah Moe, Ardeo, Vian Conradi as the top 3 8-men that are in this.
I mean, Ardeo played more flank, I imagine, this year, so
that's true.
I wouldn't count him. I'd go
Vian Conradi too.
And then Ed Timpson, I guess. Ed Timpson was the one who played 8.
Yeah,
and
Ed Timpson.
Poitevin, I guess. Well, no, Poitevin was the 7. But yeah, I mean, they got it down. Like Vian Conradi, Jonah Moe,
back row 4th. Jonah Moe.
I think the only one that probably is the outlier is Lucas Rumble, where, I mean, Lucas Rumble, the work that he does just doesn't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. And
that's true.
And you just have to accept that.
Finishes off as the back row 12, Lucas Rumble. Okay,
yeah.
scrum half.
But you got guys like Brad Wilkin, Ardeo, like our stats agree with that. McLean Jones right up there. Johan Mumson, iffy. And then Joe Johnson, Jed Melvin, Jonah Moe. Like those are all guys that are in our top 10.
Yeah. 9s, top 3 9s that we had this year. Gonzalo Bertrand, Zion Going, and Thomas Inciarte.
I know Matt doesn't like to see Zion Going up there, but
do you know what? I'm proud of him.
I'm proud of him.
I'm glad he proved me wrong.
So Connor Buckley is the interesting one there.
I don't understand this one.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me. Like, I mean, you can't do Mitch Short, obviously. You didn't have a crazy year. Buckley, he kind of split. New England Free Jacks 9 room, you couldn't really pick one there. Like Tupai Judd, like maybe that's the issue. To me, like I think Andre Warner missed out here.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I think Andre Warner probably missed
for
out.
making the finals, yeah.
But 9 was a tough one this year. Like 9 was tough. You look at the lineups, there was lack of consistency. The only consistent 9s that played were Going and Betranu. The rest were in and out.
Top 3 10s now. So according to the all MLR team selections, you got Hilsenbeck on the first team, you got Joel Hodgson on the second team, and Christian Lealifano on the third team, or on the honorable mention team, I should say.
Wow, I'm not seeing Davey Coates there.
Top 3 in fantasy: Joel Hodgson, Rodney Iona. Yes, we'll say Davey Coates finishes as 3rd, which is wild to think because he hadn't, with his injury, hadn't appeared since round 14. But Leah Lifano, I should say, does finish off just outside of that by 9 points as the fly half 4. So again, the only one that is kind of different there is somehow Hilsenbeck is on the all MLR first team. Obviously, Chicago having a very good season. Hilsenbeck did finish off as the fly half 6.
I think Hilsenbeck stepped up. I do like that Hilsenbeck pick. I think he stepped up. I think he had a year for himself. Yeah, I mean, Joel Hodgson had a sneaky good year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you
kind of forget. You kind of forget. But yeah, I mean, I think the only guy that probably missed out is Iona. I thought Iona had a really good comeback year this year. New environment. I thought he played really well. I think like, what are you gonna? Who do you drop for Iona?
Yeah.
Hilsenbeck maybe, but Hilsenbeck I think deserved to be first MLR.
Yeah, especially with how Chicago did. All right, centers now. You got your top 6 centers there. You got Meeks and Devon Rousseau, Oli Devoto, Todd Talatasi, and D'Angelo Leoila and Bryce Campbell. According to fantasy numbers, Devon Rousseau, Billy Meeks, D'Angelo Leoila, Dom McKenna, Bryce Campbell, and LaRue Milan were our top 6 finishers. So guys kind of missing out. LaRue Milan, one of them. Who else?
I'm surprised not to see LaRue Milan because I thought he had a sweet second half of the year.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I'm pretty okay with that. I think it does feel like Leoila should be higher than the honorable mention.
Maybe. I think Tassi and Devoto were like staples for their sides.
That's true.
And I mean, Devon Rousseau was a man amongst boys.
You're not touching that first team. That first team is set. That center pairing has absolutely no competition.
Yeah, it's true.
All right. Back three position. I'll just name some guys that finished top in fantasy. Mono, Matthews, Balikana, Ryan James, Jordan Trader, Rory Van Voot, Axel Muller, just to name a few. Obviously, I know it gets split up between 11, 14, and 15. With that, a lot of the fullbacks getting a lot of fantasy points, but any discrepancies there that you see on the all MLR selection teams?
No, I think it was a bit of a toss up for Duncan Matthews or Jordan Trainer. I thought they both had great years. I think Jordan Trainer, for me, the fact that he was there all year, edges him out. And he had really good. I'm really surprised to not see Ryan James here. Like
Me too.
really
Yeah.
surprised. Like he had a breakout year. Like that is breakout of breakout years. I'm really surprised to see him. I'm really surprised to see Noah Brown as high as he is. Like Rufus McLean, I thought played better. I think
Rufus
Yeah.
turned it on at the end of the year, though.
Yeah, he did. And I think like you look at a guy like Nick Ben had an incredible impact for that Utah
Yeah,
side.
he did.
Van Voot for sure. No, I just think
Ryan
James, like
James,
for
yeah,
me, Ryan
that's-
James is the biggest one. Like Ryan James would have replaced Noah Brown for me in
Yeah.
this.
What about
Interesting.
Axel Muller? Just because I love that guy. I think he had a great year for OGDC. What
Yeah.
about to just throw him up there?
Yeah. Well, either way, again, you can check out the all MLR selection team selections I've been circulating around socials. Fun little exercise. What we do here in the dead of the off season, right? We're comparing fantasy numbers with the MLR selections because this is what we do. We start diving deep into fantasy things when we don't have the actual fantasy competition going on, and this is the type of content you're going to get all off season long. And yeah, it's interesting to kind of play those exercises and see how fantasy stacks up with the opinions on these all MLR team selections. And to name awards and to move on to there, we got to give a shout out. The guy and the best player of the season has been named. And it's a guy that has been circulating around quite some bit, a name that has been circulating around quite some bit. I think it got solidified in the MLR championship when he did score in that match. But Paula Bellicana has been named your MLR player of the year. So a guy that was scoring tries left and right. I believe he tied his own record, I want to say, in number of tries scored with 15 in 14 matches or something like that. Is that the regular season? Is that scored 15 tries twice in 2025? He did it in just 14 matches, which is pretty insane. And from a fantasy number, I mean, 167.8 fantasy points. Wasn't our back row one or back three one. Not even our player number one. But either way, I think the impact that he had, especially towards the tail end of the year, was lighting it up. I mean, he goes 6 straight weeks from rounds 10 to 16 with double-digit fantasy point performances, with a high of 28.9 in round 10. I mean, Balikana, player of the year. Any qualms with that?
No, I don't think
No,
I have issues with it. I just
because he
think
did
that
it in
there
the
was
finals too.
Yeah, and this year was honestly like you could have gone a few different directions. I think Bali kind of turned it on at the end of the year. Like you compare, let's for comparison's sake, Joe Mono versus Balikana. Joe Mono had a great start to the year. First few rounds, Balikana just finished off the back half of the year, just absolutely on fire. But you look at guys like Devon Rousseau. I think Devon Rousseau could have definitely was probably in the name as they were going through this. And I wouldn't have been. I wouldn't.
Good.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been disappointed if he won either. So, but the fact that Balikana, the impact that he had, the way that he kind of pushed the New England Free Jacks to success, I think it was tough to not give it to him.
Yeah, according to MLR stats and the North American Rugby database, our friend James Dealey, his 2 tries in the 2025 MLR Championship improved into 15 tries in the 2025 season, tying the MLR record set by guess who himself in 2023. So again, a try scoring machine, and did it when it mattered most, like Vandy said.
Yeah.
And I believe we should be expecting more awards to come out. So I guess be on the lookout for that, and we'll comment on the next time.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Maddie, before I get into some international test stuff, did you have that thing that you wanted to mention or keep on moving?
Did. Well, no, I was just going to say, I mean, I'm the Bunnings insider. All right. The Bunnings,
You are the
I got
Bunnings
the
insider.
Bunnings insider.
That is right.
All the teams are announcing their squads. I believe, like I saw the likes of Lincoln McClutchy, AJ Alatimu was in one of them. Rory Van Voot was in one of them. Yeah, a bunch of names. You're going to see a bunch of names across the Bunnings NPC Cup. A lot of guys playing in that in the off season, and they're getting going. Like their preseason starting. So if you want to keep an eye out on some guys, some future guys that might be coming this way, on the guys that might be coming back for next year, that's definitely a great way to do that. So yeah, the rosters are being announced, and you're going to start seeing some names pop up.
Yeah, very, very interesting. Again, we will keep you guys in the loop with our very own Bunnings NPC correspondent, and that is Matthew Yee, who has been all aboard that. And hey, we might even dabble a little bit when we get a little bit deeper into the episode with our TFR betting challenge later on in the show,
Yes, sir.
where Bunnings NPC does love to make an appearance during the off season. That's fair. But we do have a little bit of Lions talk though to get to. Stay tuned for that. All right. Lastly, here in this news dump, let's talk a little bit about these international tests. We will talk to Q, Andrew Quattrin, a little bit about that, obviously being featured in the Canada side. That had a couple matches over the course that we were away, but both USA and Canada that had no shortage of featured MLR players in those rosters, had some summer tests going on. So just going down the list, USA beat Belgium 36-17. On the other side, Canada loses to Belgium 25-18. USA then loses to Spain in 31-20. Canada also loses to Spain, gets edged out 24-23, and then USA in the additional match in DC loses to England 40-5. They did cover the 40.5 spread that I did see, and I think a lot of people in our Discord chat was saying hammer that spread because they weren't too sure if England was going to be able to handle the humidity and maybe just kind of take it easy in the last 20 minutes or so and maybe take the foot off the pedal, which proved to be true. Either way, I believe US scored in the dwindling minutes of that to cut it down 40-5 in that one. So 3 tests for USA, 2 tests for Canada. Again, only 1 win in that time, and that was US over Belgium. Canada continues to struggle. Overall thoughts here. I mean, cool to see that a lot of MLR players being featured across these international tests. But again, I think maybe wanting to get some more result here, especially if you're a Canadian fan in these test matches.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think the one thing that you can take away, and we can probably talk to Q about this later on, is that you're closer to Spain than USA was, and Spain is a much higher ranked team, and you lost in the last minute. So I think you can take some positives away from that. And I think Brian Ray was saying that there is a August 22nd match against Canada versus USA, which is very likely going to be the Rugby World Cup qualifiers, essentially. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, should be interesting there. So again, I think the highlight of this is that you are seeing a bunch of MLR players competing on this world stage. Again, a great experience for the US players to take on a formidable side in England. And we'll see how these summer international tests kind of move forward. Again, we'll talk to more with Andrew Quattrin on that as well. Just a couple of quick notes to add to some of our player movements, because we do love the player movement posts that come out on a weekly basis from our friend James Dealey. Some things that we missed. In addition to Tavita Taimalau and Pat O'Toole retiring, Marcel Brockie also retiring. Again, another one that was we saw the head kind of injuries that happened. Can only speculate whether or not that played a role in that, but there was some head stuff that happened towards the tail end. Cam Dolan as well, a guy that has been a staple of MLR and once was one of the premier fantasy players in our time kind of playing this game, has hung up the boots as well. We mentioned Tui Fua, mentioned Tuivati moving over to Stade Montois in the Pro D2, but to add to that, Ethan Grayson returns to the Newcastle Falcons. That was expected with him coming over to San Diego, I believe, on loan, and then Harris Rutherford of the San Diego Legion also going to Rams RFC overseas in England.
Yeah. Nice. Love
There
jam delay.
Little jam delay. We love those posts during the off season. That is for sure. All right. We do also love during the off season when Ryan gets to ramble a little bit about the TFR leagues that are currently not happening.
This is just, why do we even,
Yeah.
what's the point?
Yeah, I'll be right back.
You're not even the commissioner right now. There's no leagues to be commissioned of.
Hear ye, hear ye. Here is Supreme Commissioner Yee with a Fantasy Ruckers League update.
Of what?
The
What are you
commissioner title
updating?
never goes away.
The season's over.
The commissioner title never goes away.
Update,
Never?
off season.
Gary Bettman is still the commissioner
Update,
of the NHL.
there's
in the
no
offseason.
MLR right now.
Roger Goodell
Wish
is
he
still
wasn't.
the commissioner.
Update,
during the
I'm still a
offseason.
clown.
Put that flashing across the screen. Yeah, no kidding. No, I do have a couple of things though I do want to mention out to our league members, out to our community, to just get everyone caught up because
Update.
I've been away for
I'm
2
a
weeks.
doofus.
No, no, no. It's a lot. It's much more breaking than that. I don't think that was any
Oh,
breaking. I
okay.
think people understood that before.
Okay.
Um, the first thing is that next episode, episode
Woohoo.
164, is going to be our highly anticipated every single year, the Fantasy Ruckers Yearly Awards. Put that right up there with the Nobel Peace Prizes, the
Mm,
Oscars, the
mm,
Grammys, the
mm.
Tonys. The Fantasy Ruckers Awards is happening next week. And for the first time, we are going to have a category that wants to hear from you, the people. We're going to come out with a couple votes here for our league members and our community members to participate in. So keep an eye out that on our Discord and on our social media channels at the Fantasy Ruckers. That again will be coming out next week to dish out some Fantasy Ruckers awards to put it right up there. Breaking news: Maddie, Vandy, you guys did not win any this season. So
Not even for my first win.
not even for your first win, buddy.
That's messed up.
That's
That is
just
messed
sick.
Other thing
I've been in
is
this game
feedback
as long
form.
as you can be in it.
The feedback form is coming out. We posted one last year about kind of the experience of fantasy MLR, what you liked about it, what you didn't like about it, how we can improve, what we should change. That will be coming out shortly as well. Keep an eye out for that. We really do take the feedback to heart and try to make the experience better and better and better each and every year, which we believe it has. And we'll continue to try to do that. So again, a big part of that is this feedback form that goes out to everyone who participated in fantasy MLR this season. So check that out. It'll be posted on our socials, posted in the Discord, and you'll go fill that out to give us kind of an insight into what that experience was like. And finally, we are, like we mentioned throughout this episode, in the full swing of off season. So coming up this off season, there's going to be interviews like we have today with Andrew Quattrin. There's going to be fantasy reflection, analytics, rankings, all this stuff that is really going to be the plus sum to what you digest during the season to help you get prepared for 2026. I know it's a long way out, but you can never start those sticky notes, as Matt likes to use, too soon. And you can start breaking it down, get ready for that 2026 year. And again, keep the fantasy MLR conversation going. We want to make this, and we've said this since our inception, that we want to make fantasy MLR a reality. We want to make fantasy rugby a reality in Major League Rugby. And by doing that, we keep the conversation going, regardless of whether there's matches going on. We're going to break it down. We're going to react to the news. We're going to break it down even more. And we're going to continue keeping that fantasy MLR talk going throughout the entirety of the offseason. So we're stoked to have all of you with us as we continue to do that. All right. With that being said, enough chatter from me. Let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend himself, a guy that we love to bring on this show, Mr. Andrew Quattrin. And we are pleased to be joined by 2025 MLR champion, but more importantly, friend of the
2024.
Fantasy Ruckers show, Andrew
2023.
Quattrin. Q.
Good
How's it
friend.
going, man?
Good friend. I'm doing good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for
Doing good.
having
Doing
me. The
good.
yearly chat.
The yearly, I
chat.
was thinking that every year we just end the year off with our Q interview after your post champion. It's just becoming a tradition, I think, at this point.
No,
What
it's
is this,
good.
2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027? Like, you never know when it's going to end.
It was good that you guys were able to get down to that one in Rhode Island. So that's awesome.
It's true.
Yeah, I love being called out in person.
Yeah, it's great.
It was just a little bit friendly banter.
No, you know what? It keeps us accountable for what we say on this show, right? That's exactly why we bring you on. I think what we'll call this segment, Q, we'll call it Q's with Q. I think since we're going to do this
Q's with
every
Q.
year, we might as well just input it. We'll mark it down a year from
Unreal.
now. We'll have another interview with you to talk about another championship, because that seems like what you and the New England Free Jacks seem to be doing. But all kidding aside, though, hey, congratulations! It was really cool to see you out in Rhode Island. I mean, before we get into you calling us out and you getting the job done, let's talk about that match, man, as a whole, dude. Because Houston SaberCats, New England Free Jacks, the tale of two heavyweights kind of going head to head.
Yeah.
It was making up for what was going to be a stellar final, and it ended up living up to the expectation and what was a pretty exciting match, and you guys coming on the end of it with a big time dub.
Yeah, I mean, Houston's a great team, big bodies, right? So, they're gonna bring it. You got to step up in the forwards, and they got some finesse in the back. So I thought our back stepped up, did unreal. Paula Balakani, you saw it today. MLR
Yeah.
Player of the Year, which is amazing. I actually got to text him. I haven't texted him yet,
Come on, buddy.
but that's
What kind of teammate are you, dude?
yeah, I know. Just
Two tries, carrying that shield on his back, and no text yet.
and
Yeah, they're
it
just
was
waking
so
up
funny
over there.
looking at those stats. It was like I forget what it was on the year. It was like 50 ruck arrivals, and he's got like 12 tries. So for every
Yeah,
5 ruck arrivals, he gets a try, which is unreal. So
yeah.
no, he's awesome. He's a great man, and it's well deserved.
I think the stat that came out was with the two tries in the MLR championship. We talked about it. Most tries in a season, tied for the most. The guy he ties is the same try performance he did in 2023. So I mean, the guy's a machine, right? Like, I mean, it's
Yeah,
incredible.
it's insane.
Yeah,
He touches the ball and magic happens. So
exactly. Exactly. And I feel like there's not a championship without a season. And this season for the New England Free Jacks for me was honestly one of the most interesting seasons that I've witnessed with the New England Free. I think the past 2 years we look at the roster and you kind of look at like this team stacked, this team is going to go on a run, this team's going to do well, like they're just going to pull it out. But this year was like Potros gets hurt, Poland gets hurt. You lose Reese McDonald in the offseason. You have a bunch of back rowers come in, you have a bunch of new guys come in, but you also lose some of these key guys.
yeah.
What was it feeling for you guys as that was all going down throughout the year? You guys are bringing in like Dan Hollinshead and stuff like that. Like, did your confidence as a team ever waver throughout the season?
No, I think we knew it was going to be unique. I mean, pretty much everyone that's asked me like on a type of show like this, which is honestly awesome. I love what you guys do. That's why I was like, oh boys, you're cheering for Houston. Because I honestly believe a lot of guys like tune into it. So Fantasy Ruckers are definitely one of my faves. So
Hell yeah.
There
make
you
sure to
go.
watch all those snippets you boys put out on Instagram. No, I think we knew it was going to be unique in terms of like new coaching staff
Yeah.
with the additions of Mardo and Devald. And so we knew it was going to be different and we just had to adapt as players and we just kind of trusted the process. Sounds cliche, but different game plan, different like focuses in terms of like forwards and stuff like that. So no, I don't think not that there was like there was never really a lack of confidence, but yeah, it was different. Like you said, we lose
Yeah.
Body pretty early on. He comes back with like that, and then that freak accident, like with the turf and stuff, non-contact. Like you just feel so sorry for that guy. And then Shedsy just steps up, does a
Yeah.
phenomenal job. So yeah, like he's like our sleeper of the season. Him, Boiler. You could name everyone, honestly. Like
Yeah.
guys just stepping up. Brock Webster. Uh,
Holy cow. What a year, eh?
yeah, like I actually like vocalize it to some of the guys. Like I was pretty just proud of our forward pack. We're like just quite dynamic. I know we're not the biggest. Like we got Sam Carrot at 6'6". He towers
Mm.
over everybody else
A
in like a
weapon.
huddle. Right.
Oh, yeah.
So no, it was a good team effort. And I think that really like highlights kind of like the chemistry and the what's it called? I guess like the continuity between our guys.
Yeah.
Like at the end,
Yeah.
of the day, like you want to play for your buddies, like culture kind of wins. And that's what's like our strong suit at the Free Jack. So it's awesome.
I mean, it feels like it's a snowball that continues to get bigger and bigger, right? Like, I mean, you go 2023, all right, here's this team that's, making a statement. You're like, okay, we'll see it. And I think expectation was high going into 2024.
Yeah.
Maybe it wavered a little bit, but then you guys get the job done again in 2024. And then I think again and we'll get to it, us being the same people that also, it's got to be this year where
That wasn't me.
someone takes down the Goliath and you guys do it again. You mentioned process though, Q, which I think is an interesting word that you use because at this point, like, can you describe to me what that process is? What is the process that you guys are trusting? Because I feel like at this point, you guys have done it now 3 years in a row regardless of what players that you're plugging into that process, it seems like you mentioned like culture wins games. Like, what is it that makes New England able to kind of just keep this thing churning and feel like every single year, no matter what happens, whatever obstacles you guys face, you guys are able to overcome it and end the season with a shield that's being lifted?
Yeah, I don't really want to like, well, I guess it's pretty much been said. Like,
Trade
yeah,
secrets.
because
Tell
I
us more.
listened to is is it good, not Good Morning Rugby, but there's a All American Rugby. Is that the
Yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I listened to Mardo and he said it perfectly. Like after, we had a couple tough losses, right? Like a couple tough showings early in the year and even at the back end of the year, with the Miami game and stuff like that. Um, it's just like sticking to like basics, honestly. Like we do we do this thing we called it the energy bus in 2023. And then we had like we called it a jam session in 2024, and that was this year was a soul session. And it's
Mm.
just like every Monday, like we'd meet at Quincy Yacht Club, which is just like on the water. It's a nice spot, have breakfast, kind of like disassociate ourselves from rugby and like just connect as like friends. So like that never changed, like it wasn't like, oh, a tough loss, like we're gonna have a bag skate on Monday, you know what I mean? It was always just like sticking to that same process, like connections first. Um, so yeah, like that's really the process, honestly, is like rugby and rugby at the end of the day is like the goal, but I think it's like how can you build towards that? And those off-field connections are like super important. So like our staff, like TK, even like Jamie, our manager, like young guy, like I think he's 23. He comes in, doesn't miss a beat, like he's maybe older than what, four or five guys in the squad, and
Hmm.
he's like just as into it as our coaches are and the old players on the team. So everyone kind of just like buys into that process, if you want to call it. It's really just like a fun breakfast. Sometimes it's pickleball, sometimes it's cricket, like so it's just the off-field connections that are amazing in New England. Sorry, go
Why
ahead.
do you why do you guys feel like you can do that better than anybody else though? You know what I mean? Like, cause like I feel
Yeah.
like what you're saying, and I don't want to say it's kind of like cliche, but like
Yeah.
everyone says it. You know what I mean? Like teams say it, but it's one thing to say it and another thing to actually put it in action and see the rewards that come out of it. I mean, come on, man. We're talking about back to back to back championships, right? Like
Yeah.
I'm not even just talking about rugby, like I'm talking about in all of sport. That just doesn't happen that often. Why do you feel that New England, better than any other team, takes what you're saying and is able to translate that to the field better than anyone else?
It probably just starts with like the staff, like picking good guys, having good like humans on the team. Not like saying that that's not the case for other teams, but like I guess maybe um in the early days, like really getting the guys to know each other. And then like, we're a family for 6 months. A lot of guys, might leave their partners at home or have their partners with them, but like their families are at home, right? So it's just about like getting to know each other, getting to know what guys like off the field. And I think it just starts with like picking the right guys. Like you hear it all the time, like even in any sport, really, like you want guys that are good locker room guys, right? Like you would almost not sacrifice, but maybe sacrifice like an all-star, like and get like just good like quality guys that are like that.
Personality hires.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
what they call them
yeah,
in the corporate world.
exactly. And I know it's like that. I think that's just the Free Jacks philosophy that's worked really well. Um, yeah, you need those all-stars, right? Like a Vion Conradi, a LaRue, Milan, right? Like Ben
Andrew
Lesage,
Quattrin.
but like those are good guys as well, right? So you kind of get lucky and hit the jackpot there. Even Potty, like, Potty's 33, right? Like, or I might be taking some flack for that, but he's a bit younger and he buys in, right? Like we do some like funky stuff, but like he buys in. He's buying in as much as like the 21-year olds. So I think when like as a whole, you see like those older guys buying, it's like, yeah, everybody's on board. You know what I mean? Like, so we're doing dress ups. We got mini teams and everybody buys in. Um, so I don't know where that starts from. I really don't. I think it's like it starts from up top and like having like good influence. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think it's crazy, man. Like I think it's crazy with New England as well. Like you can almost sense it in the fan base too. Like
yeah,
that energy that flows through the team that you're talking about, you then sense it going through the entire Quincy region, that entire, you know, the entire fan base that's at the stadium every weekend. So yeah, it's definitely unique for sure.
especially
I
because
guess we
they
got
demand a lot
yeah.
out of us, like not in a
Oh
bad
yeah.
way, right? But it's like Boston itself, like Quincy, it's small, like such a gorgeous small town, like obviously associates themselves with Boston sports.
Yeah.
And I think they're like, oh yeah, no, this is our team, right? Like Quincy's awesome. So I think when they demand that like that out of us, Joe Johnson says it the best. He's always like, we can't lose home games because our fans like love us so much. They put so much time, put so much effort, do so much like extra stuff for us, right? Like our first regiment, like getting gift cards for the guys, like getting all
Yeah.
like the housing necessities for boys that are coming in, like and haven't been paid yet, right? Like so I think like everything just perfect example, like you said, right? Like just snowballs.
Yeah.
And then there's that like they have the trust in us that we're gonna put something out on the field, and like them giving that to us shows that like this means a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
And
we got to meet a handful of them at
yeah, we
Yeah,
did.
FanFest in
yeah,
Rhode Island, and
Boy,
let me
did
tell
we
you,
ever.
they walk the walk and talk the talk, right? They
Yeah.
they're a fun bunch to be
yeah.
around. No joke about that. But let's go back, and I should play the clip, but you win the championship, and we see you on the field, right? And you're like, you guys picked Houston. You guys picked Houston. And
I didn't
I'm
pick
like,
Houston.
I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, tail between the legs. Like, yeah, you if it comes to proving someone wrong, you couldn't have done it any better. But where I find that fascinating is like, is that did because I feel like this year, right? And I don't know if it's people getting tired of the New England Free Jacks winning, but I felt like heading into this match, whether that were other pundits that were making their predictions or us on this show, where we were just like, you know what, like it's bound to break at some point. And everyone was like, oh, Houston looks great. The way they beat, in their conference finals was fantastic. The way they controlled Utah and all that. Like, was there any feeling of you guys being like the underdog in that? Where like, we're gonna prove these guys wrong. That like, we can do it for a third time straight, us included, obviously.
I think a bit, and I didn't mean that maliciously because
No, 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 no.
at
Like
you
I
guys,
said,
but
us
there
accountable.
is there is like a sense in yeah, we probably I wouldn't say we felt like we didn't never doubted ourselves. But actually I forget what game it was, but there was like Ryan Martin put like a slide up and like said like, fear's good. It means like you're ready to take on a task. Like and I think that was just like, yeah, you got a lot of people like, maybe not picking the free jacks this year.
Mm,
Um,
I know
and
those ones.
so I think maybe with that comes a bit of doubt in the guys, but it's like, hey, boys, like fear is good. Like that means you care. That means like you're prepared, you're ready for something, it's a big game. So, um, yeah, like yeah, it was definitely I would say it was our toughest year. It was our toughest
Yeah.
year in terms of like injuries, maybe not putting all the wins together we wanted. Coming like Chicago, phenomenal team, right? Probably
Yeah.
didn't play our best. They probably deserved to win. I would be I'm sure every guy would be the first one. Everyone would say it on our squad, like we didn't play our best and we kind of got lucky at the end there.
Yeah.
Uh,
Did they hit that kick?
when that kick, yeah, right. Like, and that's just the bounce of the ball, right? Like, unfortunately, because they were such a
Yeah.
phenomenal team this year too.
They
So
were.
yeah, I think with all that, like, rolls a bit of doubt. But like we never let it slip into the environment. I wouldn't say again, just back to basics. back to soul session on Monday after a tough win, right? And no, it was awesome.
All right,
Yeah.
putting one and one together, we fueled Hughes championship, right,
Yeah,
Maddie?
I
That's
agree. I mean, look, I had an all-time high of New England Free Jack slander this year, I think.
yeah.
And just a lot of doubting on the New England Free Jack side this year. So yeah, I think Ryan, we did do it. We did it. We helped them win.
Where's our medal? Where's our shield that we need to get? I
I have
think
to
we
go
got
steal it
it.
from Josiah or something.
There
Yeah.
you go.
But like, I guess speaking of that, like you like for this, like how much do you think, or I guess it's a two-parter, right? Like, did it, you talked about like home crowd and how much being at home means to you. Did this championship feel like a home game for you guys? And then the second part is like, how much did that fuel you guys when you came out in the first half, when you came out in the second half, and you're hearing that loud pop of New England Free Jack fans?
Yeah, it was phenomenal. It definitely felt like a home game. Our fans traveled so well. They were like First Regiment reaches out to I think the Rhode Island FC like supporters club who was then there supporting the Free Jacks, right? So
Yeah.
um and we felt that like when it was like, oh, the city of Quincy's sending buses down with fans. So again, there's kind of that pressure that it's like we're like, we got to perform for our fans. Like
Yeah.
Mitch Jacobson used to always say, like, fans are spending their hard-earned money on tickets to come watch us play. Like, let's put on a show for them. And, I think we've stood by that. I would say probably since the Free Jacks. I can't speak for the first 2 years, but watching them play and playing against them, they've spoken that into existence. Um, ever since the franchise has existed, right? It's that Fort Quincy like side of things has really become like, like our fans are going to come out, have a good time, but like at the end of the day, they're spending their hard-earned money to watch us play a game, and they want us to win.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, like, as soon as the MLR championship, this was even before that they knew that the Free Jacks were going to be making it to the final. So you guys always obviously had to hold up your end of the bargain. But like our Discord community was like, oh, yeah, we already got, I forget what section it was, but it was like, oh, yeah, by the way, we already got section 106 like sold out. And this was like literally days after
Yeah.
the ticket sale goes on. Like Free Jacks fans are crazy. It's another
Yeah.
level. But I guess where that leads, and we'll now I guess shift the conversation to more what you've been up to since the end of the championship. But I have a loaded question for you, somewhat.
Uh-oh.
So let me pull up something for you, all right, Q?
Don't show it to him.
The last team to win three consecutive championships, or what they're calling a three-peat, is the Lakers from 2000 to 2002. Okay. Kansas City had a chance to do it in the NFL. They couldn't
Yeah.
get it done. The Free Jacks get that chance this year and they get the job done. Is it safe to say that the
Uh-oh.
Free Jacks
Uh-oh.
are the biggest dynasty in all of sport right now?
He did it. He dropped the D word.
I um it's a good question. Like, yeah, it is a loaded question. I really got that plate of nachos, that loaded nachos coming to the table. Um, I think we've just had like just the solid core of guys, and all the additions have been phenomenal guys. Um, yeah, I would say, yeah, like I guess it all depends what you characterize a dynasty. Like if that's
I think
three championships, then like yeah, maybe. But I think that going back to it, like it, we never really we spoke. We had this rule of three theme. That was our theme. Um, and the kind of end goal of it was that, yeah, like the third championship's on the line. So like we had like trusting triplets, which was like we were all split into groups. So like I was with Pono and Jack Reeves, and we were billeted one night, right? And we get to know each other a bit more. So we did a lot of things in threes. We had like beliefs in threes. We had a really cool mural in our facility that was like a triangle, but it was made up of different tiles. So each trusting triplet on the night when they were billeted filled out their tile. And sometimes they would flip the tiles and look at them and read them, right? So I think there was just a huge emphasis on this rule of three, but it was never really um at first, yes, it was positioned as, hey, like things happen in three guys, but throughout the season, it was never like, oh, rule of three, third championship until, playoffs came, and it's like, okay, we're building. Um, so I'll let you.
Well, let me just say
It's
those billet
well,
rooms are going to get really tight and cozy if this keeps on
I was gonna
happening
say,
because
what's next? The
the
square?
rule of quadruplets, quintuplets, like you're going to have some billet rooms that are going to get pretty packed. You're going to get to squares and pentagons and all this stuff.
I
So
mean, look, like what? So Q, you don't have to answer it, but like the way that I look at it is that you guys have been able to keep a core group of guys, like key players to that franchise for an extended period of time and have continued success by adding pieces to that. And to me, you look at some of the greatest teams of all time, and that's one of the recipes of success for those dynasties that has existed in all the other major sports franchises. So, um, hate to say it, Q, but I think we might be onto
Chicago
something.
Bulls, New England Patriots, New England Free Jacks, right there. I think we got to put Q may not say it, but I think we may say it on this show. We appreciate the humbleness, Q. We know you are humble when it comes to that, but
But
it's crazy. I guess long story short, Q, it's just crazy that we're even having this conversation. And like in our eyes, like what you guys are doing is incredible, right? And I don't know if you've gotten a chance to kind of take a step back and like realize that, but like from a fan's perspective, like it's insane. It's insane. Like it's truly incredible what you guys have achieved over the course of 3 seasons.
but that's just I will say, like, you talk about holding a core group of guys, right? Like a retention rate of probably,
Yeah,
I think first couple of years were like 80%, then it was maybe
yeah.
70 this year, but it's like I think that just shows how much like the guys value each other, but also like what the club does for us. Again, what our fans do
Hmm.
for us. Like if you can play, some people only get to play one game at Fort Quincy. Like to be able to play like 8 games, guys want to play there. Guys want to play in front of like that, like a packed stadium, right? Like, and so I think that's just a reflection on like, yeah, what the club does. I think it comes that when a player chooses to be there, obviously, like you always hear the guys are awesome. The guys are awesome. Um, so yeah, it's just I think it's just a reflection of a really good club, Everyone kind of plays their roles. Oliver Gilpin, I'm not sure if you guys know, like he does the graphics and stuff. Like he just does his job. So he made that like callers hotline. I
Mm.
believe it was him, like where you could call in and say a bunch of stuff, wishing the guys good luck, right? It's just like little stuff like that connect like
Yeah.
fans to players. Um, so yeah, I think it's just a really good reflection on like the franchise itself.
That's cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about you, Q. Let's talk about you
You're good,
personally.
man.
Um, you've been in this league for a long time, man. So does it feel like you just finished your 7th season? Like that's nuts. Like I feel like
Holy
just
cow!
yesterday we were talking.
So yesterday you were on
I
the
remember the good
barbs.
old days, Q. I remember back high school days, and the fact
Bill
that you're now
Carruthers,
7 seasons in.
fullback,
Yeah, yeah.
second team fullback at Bill Carruthers.
There you go. There you go. The fact
Um,
that
seven
7th season,
years.
that's crazy, man. Like you look back on your MLR journey, what sticks out to you in that time that you spent in the league, from the Arrows to now the Free Jacks?
Yeah, I think actually funny enough, because I know we'll get into it probably, but like seeing Cole Keith showed me a pic because we played together. Obviously, we'd have
Mhm.
a bunch of games played together, but he showed me Stephen Webb was on their most recent Canada tour.
Mhm.
And he showed me there's a picture of Cole Keith warming up. He's like holding the ball, and Stephen Webb's like 13 in the background. Like, you know what I mean? Like just on the field. I think it was
Crazy.
in Vegas, like our second year. Yeah, it might have been our second year. So yeah, when I see stuff like that, I definitely feel old. My hairstyle really hasn't changed other than like grays coming in the side. So yeah, that makes me feel old. Um, but no, I think like when you continuously have fun, like even at the Arrows, like I loved like every guy I think that was involved with the Arrows that's still in the league, like says like that was just such an awesome thing, right? To play in Toronto, be kind of like Canada's team. Um, like I miss that. I miss those guys. I miss those days so much. So I think what like time flies when you're having fun. So no, to long-winded answer your question, it doesn't feel like 7 years, but sometimes you get the like a friendly reminder that it's been that long. So
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's been crazy for me, like watching from the arrow side where you were in and out as a starter. I feel like you were kind of splitting 50-50 in the start, like splitting with my boy old Jacko.
yeah,
Um, and then now you're just, I would say, and I don't think it's up for debate that you're one of the top three, not three hookers in the league. Like that's
sure.
I don't think that's up for debate. And I think it's crazy to see where you're at now. Like the fact that you're a staple of a championship team, it's just nuts. And man, kudos to you,
Kind of you
man.
to say thank you. But yeah, like look at a guy like Dylan Fawcett, right? Probably the best in the
Yeah.
league. Like I remember playing against him, I guess all the different pitches they had at New York. Same type of situation with New York, unfortunately, where he's moved on and
Yeah.
probably had fun times there and fun times in Chicago. So the growth of the league's been great.
Hey,
Um,
how was playing against Coltman? Was that crazy? And then meeting him after the match?
yeah, he actually played Canada versus the All Blacks. He was
All right.
the
Yeah.
starting hooker, yeah. So obviously would not remember me at all. Like
Yeah, but
when
what a
I thought
weapon.
when I saw he signed, and then I was like, "Oh, that's amazing!" And someone had vocalized, "Oh, you're what an awesome opportunity." So yeah, to play against him is crazy, right? Like having like those type of caliber guys in the league just like boosts it so much. And I would like hope that they have fun and enjoy their time over here.
Yeah.
Because like to like Americans and Canadians, like it means so much to like play against those players, like, and I think now more than ever you're seeing like guys being selected for, like tier one nations from
Hmm.
like the MLR, like
Yeah.
um,
Samoa's got like
yeah, Samoa,
seven
right?
guys.
Like, Mil Sanarivi used to play at the Free Jacks. He's doing awesome
Yeah.
for Moana, right? Taniela Filimone played for
Yep.
for the Highlanders. So like it's really cool to see like that type of growth. Um, and it's awesome on those guys. Those guys deserve it so much, right? So no, it's amazing.
All right.
Like speaking of comparison to front rows, right?
Do
Feel
we
like we
do we
gotta
do it? Do we drop the
I feel
numbers
like
now?
I feel
I
like we do
guess.
have to drop the numbers. I
I
feel
already
like
know the numbers. I was looking at them all year.
Okay, well, we got some fun stuff. Quickly though, before we get into those, I know we just wrapped up some Canadian tests there, Q, and Belgium, Spain. Maybe not the result that a lot of Canada fans maybe wanted to have seen, but some tight matches there. Just quickly, just overarching thought after those two matches is obviously being a pivotal role of that Canadian program and kind of what is the future from
and
someone that is a staple part of building what Canada's trying to build right now. What does the future look like? What are you guys trying to achieve here, and what should fans be looking towards for Rugby Canada?
and I'll hop onto that also. Like after that Spain game, I feel like you got to have a pretty positive outlook of how that went
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, I think the first game was tough, right? I think just getting into our system,
Yeah.
some guys only having 6 days to train, the guys that were coming in from the final and stuff. So it was like pretty a quick turnaround. And excuse me. Obviously, like I didn't think we executed our game plan amazingly, but it was amazing to see like the turnaround in terms of like, okay, we're going into Spain. We got a 6 day turnaround here. How can we make this better? And that one stung because I really did think we deserved to win that. I thought we played really well. Um, but I think it's an exciting brand of rugby, looking to, put teams under pressure with like kicks, getting into different zones. So no, it's definitely super exciting. And that was like I know we lost against Spain, but that was like definitely rewarding to see. Like,
Yeah.
hey, we can really like put teams under pressure, and Spain's a good team. They're
Oh yeah.
14th, 15th in the world. So, I think being able to match ourselves up against them, that was like awesome in terms of our confidence and stuff. Um, so yeah,
Yeah, should be interesting. Obviously, fingers crossed, but obviously, as us native Canucks, USA is probably just around the corner too, so
yeah,
that'll obviously be a big test as well. But we'll leave it to a conversation on a later day with our American friends here on this show to talk about that game, which will be fun. But hey, let's get to it. Q, you have hard expectations or high expectations, I should say. The last time you were on this show, right? We told you that you were the best front row from a fantasy perspective in all of fantasy MLR. You
Wow.
finished 122.9 fantasy points last year in 15 appearances. So really, you can't get any better than that. So I'm sorry to tell you, but I guess the bar is as high as you put
Yeah.
it. This year, you said you kind of dabbled in the stats. Do you kind of know a general area in which you fell in here
In
this
terms
season?
of front row, I forget the last time, which I love your the database. It's phenomenal.
No, I appreciate it,
It's
man.
so interesting, like to see all that. Like I can't imagine the coding. I was a geography major, but I had a coding class, and like I was just so
Oh, we
poor.
could hire you as a Fantasy Ruckers intern,
Yeah,
man.
if you want, yeah. All we'll be doing is like tries, tackles. That because I can't code, but um, I think when I looked, I was in like maybe late into the season, like maybe fifth or something.
Okay. Okay.
Um, yeah, I can't really quite remember. I know I'd missed a couple
Okay.
games.
So your high point, okay, was 122.9 fantasy points last season, right?
Yeah.
This year, the highest point total scored by a front row player was 115.8. So not even touching your point total from
Wow.
last season. But unfortunately, it was not you,
Yeah.
but Shiloh Klein at
That's right. That's right.
115.8 fantasy points, number one. Liam Coltman at number two at 112.7.
Oh, a close one.
Close one. You are sitting at 77.2. So where do you think that
Yeah,
slots you
not
in front
ideal.
row?
I'm gonna go. You definitely have Jack Ascaro in there. You definitely have Dylan Fawcett in there. Um, I'm gonna go Seth Smith. If he likes PETA would be potentially in there. I'm gonna go like sixth or seventh.
That's pretty good. Seventh place this year, Q. So not bad. Front row seven. So still a front row one. You're a starter in this league. So no
Cheers.
one's dropping you.
Who had me? Who
Um,
had me this year?
oh, who had Q? I want to. I got. We can look up quickly there.
Oh, no,
Uh,
It
no
was
stress. I
us.
was curious.
oh, it was us. It was us,
Yeah, we
wasn't
did.
it?
We just
Yeah,
held
yeah,
on.
we
We
did.
just
We
held
had
on to
you.
you
Yeah.
for dear
And guess
life.
what? Hey, tit for tat, we won a fantasy championship this year. It was the first time the Fantasy
Oh,
Ruckers won
let's
the
go. I'm a
OG
part of the
League.
squad.
So
Yeah.
we'll trade you our championship
Yeah,
for
there we
your
go.
MLR
Let's
championship.
I
go.
think
It's the
that's a
same
fair
thing.
So how
trade.
does that work if you don't mind me asking? Would you like try to accumulate like you pick one front row so you'd have the guy on a bench type of thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So you start a front row, second row, a back row, a forward flex. So it can be any of those three. And then scrum half, fly half, center, back three, and then a back flex.
Okay. That's
And
cool.
then you have five bench spots on there. So you were our, now that I remember it. We took a 2 week break, so hard to remember. It was a while since we won the championship, but yeah, you were the staple of our front row. We
Wow.
had you starting, man. If you can remember, what week did you have your highest performance? You
Oh,
had a 15.9 point performance, which was your highest of the year by far.
wow.
You actually scored
Can't
two
remember. I
tries
remember
in that
seeing
game.
that though. I was like, oh wow, and probably mall tries.
That's
Um,
all
I don't
right.
even think so. I'm pretty sure you were just throwing your
Pick and
body
go,
across the
maybe.
line. Yeah,
Yeah,
pick
I
and
think it was a
goes.
pick and go.
You're a bit of a
I don't
weapon
get
in
much
that this
open
year.
space on the field, so I can't remember what game that was. I think it was in Quin. Oh no, it wouldn't have been Utah. Would have been in Quincy.
Okay. Well,
Close to the first half of the season.
right in the middle.
I don't got it.
Week 9, San Diego.
Oh, yes,
You
yes,
guys
yes.
pumped them.
You guys pumped them.
Yeah, yeah.
You not only got named Fantasy Ruckers Team of the Week, you were also named MLR
Wow.
front row. You're on the MLR team, so that was a pretty good week for you, Q. Pretty good.
Cheers. Thank you.
Yeah, front row seven on the year. So Q, hey, not a little. There's now room for improvement now, right? So you kind of blew us away with expectation last
Yeah.
year. You kind of settled down here. Now you can supersede that again. You can count on us drafting you again as our front row player, and you will ride
You
ourselves.
got a Balacana year incoming. You know,
Yeah. So
Balacana
okay,
had a down year last year, and next year is going to be Q's Balacana year.
there you go. So just to put into perspective, Q, to wrap things up. So you got, what do we say, 77.2 fantasy points. So Paula Bellicana, your player of the year, okay, finishes off as our sixth best player in fantasy
Wow.
had 167.8 fantasy points.
Jeez. Did anyone touch 200?
Not this year. Not
So who
this
would have
year.
been who would have been the best front row? Was it Frank?
Oh, okay. That's it.
Oh, sorry.
So
Second back row.
best back row,
Yeah.
Jonah Moe.
Yeah, Jonah's awesome, right? Like, yeah.
Sick.
184.2. He actually might have had the best back row season almost of all time because it's not usual that a forward is able to even touch being the best fantasy player. Joe Mono beat him by 3 fantasy
Yeah,
points.
Joe Mono. Yeah,
Yeah. So that
Jonah
was
was
that thing.
unreal this season. He's so
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. To round out the top 5, Devon Rousseau, Duncan Matthews, and then Brad Wilkin were kind of your top 5 players. Since you mentioned it though, front row players, um, Shiloh Klein. So this is where you take the pen and paper out and use this as motivation for next year.
Chips, stack the chips, stack the chips.
Shiloh Klein, Coltman, Fawcett, or Roach,
Cam Orr and Hugh Roach.
Aneasu, and
And
then
Moore was a
you.
beast.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. Yeah, Cam Orr was awesome this year too.
Yeah.
Wow, those are some good
Some good company.
yeah, I'm honored to be, well, I'm not really up there. But that's
Hey, you're
some
holding
good
on.
guys to push
You're
for.
holding on.
You're holding on. You're holding on. I mean, last year you're number one. Motivation to get back up there.
Yeah.
Last thing, Q.
Yeah.
If you had to guess, Free Jacks players, uh, highest scoring forward on the Free Jacks.
What can you give me your score basis? Oh, well,
We got
it's tough because Joe Johnson probably didn't get a lot of tries, but he played in every single game and would rack up tackles. So like what a
So
try would be 5. What's a tackle?
5 for a try,
Three?
0.1 for a meter gained, 2 for a try assist, 0.3 for a tackle, 2 for a forced turnover, and then minus a half for a turnover.
That's so tricky because like Sam Kerr, tons of tackles, actually probably dotted down 4 or 5 tries. But was hurt with that hand. Jed Melvin, if he played every single game, he'd probably be number one. But he got suspended this season. Vion's just consistent, so like he's in the mix. And Joe Johnson, that's where I'm just like, because he kind of gets the ball on the outside and just runs. I'm going to pick 2. I'm going to go Joe Johnson or Jed Melvin.
Okay. Vian Conradi, number 1.
Yeah, like I
149.7.
shouldn't have doubted it. Like
Jed Melvin, 140.3, and then Joe Johnson, 130.8. Let me tell you, though, just to put into perspective how good your back row room was, all 3 of them were in the top 10
Nuts.
of back row players. It's nuts what they do.
it's a
nuts.
crazy back row.
Yeah.
Jed Melvin's
absolutely.
a beast.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
So either way,
Right.
and obviously, Balikana, the player of the year, best New England Free Jack, at least from a fantasy sense this year, 167.8. So pretty crazy stuff.
Hey,
Yeah.
Q, before we let you go, anything that you can tell the people in your off-season plans? I mean, outside of international rugby, you up to anything sneaky, like the time you went down to Manawatu? Anything sneaky like that?
No, nothing sneaky. So just enjoying myself. I actually got I got I'm seeing Ryan Gam this week, which will be
Oh,
awesome.
there you go.
Let's
Just seeing those
go.
boys from back home. So yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that. It's always like good to connect with the rugby boys from outside of like
Yeah.
Free Jacks arrows. So
Yeah.
no, that'll be great. But
That's
I
awesome.
wanted to go to the Jays game, get the Looney Dogs because apparently like those are awesome. Like, but
Hey,
they're
put it
playing
on
the
the list.
Yankees, eh? So
There you go.
no, just relaxing for the time being, which is nice, and then back into it.
Awesome.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
hey, enjoy Q. Again, always appreciate the time hopping on. Again, I think I know we ask you the tough questions on this show, obviously, but honestly, it's just really cool to get the insight. And honestly, it all comes down to just how impressive it is of what you guys have been able to do for the past 3 years, and obviously you being a massive, massive part of that. So, yeah, on behalf of the Fantasy Ruckers Show, all of our community members, we appreciate the access and the insight into that, and look forward to when we have Qs with Q next season, and we let you know where you're at after maybe a 4th championship.
364 days from now, I'm looking forward to it.
Let's
There you
go.
go.
I'm already
Hey, we
counting
might
down.
might sneak a little bit of a thing. We won't lock it out completely, but I always love to chat with you, man. You're welcome anytime.
Hey, thanks what you guys do. It's awesome. It really is. Like it's just so cool to see all the data, all the hard work you guys put into it. Pretty much every kind of podcast and supporter, even fan in the MLR. So, but especially what you guys do, it's awesome. So, thanks so much for your support for the league.
Yeah, really appreciate it, Q. Really appreciate it. It means a lot. It means a lot, man. But we'll talk next time. Enjoy the off season. And until then, yeah, keep those names in mind, man. That's what's gonna get you
Back
get
those
you
I'll be
chips.
taking notes in the off season.
There you go. All right. See you, Q.
See you guys. Thanks.
All right. Well, thank you to Q for joining us here on the Fantasy Rucker Show. Again, like we mentioned, always welcome here on our show. Friend of the show, a guy that we love to converse with, break down, get his insight into what it takes to be a champion because he's done it 3 straight years. Fun conversation with him. But got to keep the show moving here. And we'd like to do that here by talking a little bit about betting in the world of rugby.
TFR
Stops. The
Betting
betting don't stop.
Challenge.
That's
MLR
right,
season
Maddie.
finishes,
The ML
Andy's still a degenerate.
That's right, Maddie. The MLR may stop, but that doesn't mean the betting stop. TFR Betting Challenge presented by Betstamp. Betstamp betting made easy. Again, you can check out the link down below to get some new user deals at sportsbooks available in your area. Help you out while helping support the show. And again, like Maddie mentioned, no Major League Rugby going on, of course. I think a final tally. We're gonna like gloss right over it, and I love it because Vandy has been like not here. So Vandy, good job. You won the MLR
Way to go, man.
betting
Way to go.
challenge.
You did
Good
it.
job.
You did
Should
it.
I here?
You're the true degenerate.
Yeah, there you go.
You did it, Vandy.
Good job. That's about as much as you're gonna get.
I just keep winning.
You just keep winning. That's right. But we do have some pretty big matches coming up here that we do
Just
want to
single
chat about, particularly
You owe me
the
50
British and
bucks,
Irish
Ryan.
Lions getting into their series with Australia. By the time this podcast is released, the matchup with the First Nations Pacifica 15 is over. So we're going to skip on over that. But the lines are out for their Australian matchup this Saturday, July 26th, competing at Australia. Maddie, if you had to guess who the favorite is.
Lions.
Okay, Lions favorite. Easy question. Next question. What is the spread?
All right. So test one was 27-19 for the Lions. Lions dominated that first half for sure. They're at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. With all that being said, it means absolutely nothing to my mathematician skills. They're going to be favored by 7.5.
Favored by 7.5.
What? Look at this guy.
Not 7.5. Higher.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
At the Melbourne Cricket Ground?
At the Melbourne Cricket Ground. It's crazy.
All right, you're gonna say it?
I was going to
That
say
was
if
a
you.
guess. I'm not gonna keep guessing. I'm just
Why
gonna
don't
keep
you guess
guessing.
it?
What was that, 10.5?
11.5.
Oh, hammer Australia. Australia's gonna cover that for sure.
Okay. The over under is 49.5. So if I do the math quickly here, the implied point total is going to be around 31-20 is kind of what the score they're expecting it to be.
Okay. Yeah,
So-
Australia's gonna cover that.
Okay. All right.
Australia will cover that.
Okay. So
Feel
like
fairly
Maddie says,
confident.
smash the plus 11.5. Any chance, Maddie, that you take the money line on that?
Nope, not for Australia.
Okay.
Maybe test 3, but we'll get there next week.
All right, we'll get there.
For this one,
Just for people's information, plus 400 underdogs there. Australia is against the
Yeah,
British.
don't
and
even
Irish
touch that
Lions.
one.
All
Don't
right.
even touch it.
Well, hey, and that's going to continue all off season long. Bunnings NPC is going to start. We got more international tests starting. Again, the chatter was continuing in our Discord, especially when the USA versus England game was going on. People were saying hammer the 40.5 spread. Hit so easy for some of the people on there. We got some smart people, especially betting people in our Discord. So hey, it's a fun community to be a part of to keep that conversation going. Vanny, we'll take a break a little bit. All right, no challenges this off season.
What are you,
Maybe.
chicken?
All right. Maybe we'll
What
do
are
a
you,
Bunnings
chicken?
maybe we'll do a Bunnings NPC challenge with
Let's
Maddie
go.
being the liaison.
I beat you in the summer. I beat you in the season. You owe
It
me
doesn't
50
matter.
bucks. This is too easy.
It's too easy. You just keep on winning, like you said.
I got you, Vanny. I'm gonna get you through this offseason with some good bets.
All righty. Well, hey, TFR Betting Challenge brought to you by Betstamp. Betstamp betting made easy. Again, check out the link down below if you want to be degenerates like us. And even when the MLR is done, even cash in and continue to work these lines on other rugby matches that are happening across the year. You'll find a way. You'll find a way to find a rugby match to bet on. Again, TFR Betting Challenge presented by Betstamp. All right. Well, hey, thank you to Andrew Quattrin for joining the show. Vandy, Maddie, great to have you guys back here on the Fantasy Ruckers show. Again, this is where the offseason grind begins. This is where we continue that fantasy MLR conversation. Join the fun. Help us make it a reality, and that starts with the work that happens this offseason. Maddie, Vandy, anything you have to say to the people?
Keep on keeping on.
Keep on keeping on.
Just stay alive.
Stay alive, right? Thumbs up for Maddie. Thumbs up for Vandy. Just words of wisdom from you two. I miss you guys so much. It's great. All right. For Maddie, for Devin, Vandy,
Keep
Vanderpool,
breathing. Keep
I'm
breathing.
Ryan Yee, and this is the Fantasy Ruckers Show. We'll see you next week.
The Bee Gees.
You've been listening to the Fantasy Ruckers Show, bringing fantasy rugby to the masses, covering everything rugby from the MLR and beyond. We hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to like, rate, and review, and be sure to tell all your friends. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, connect with us on social media at the Fantasy Ruckers. Till next time, this is the Fantasy Ruckers Show, signing off.